Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We were here today with the UK podcast, visual podcast again. Thank you for joining. I'm the guest interview today, and we've got an amazing guest interviewee on. We've got Tom Pagut from New York. Thanks, Tom, for being here.
How's it going, Andrew? Thanks for having me on, guys. This is awesome. This will be good.
Yeah, look, thanks for joining us. I'm just stepping in today again to a bit of a guest interview. I obviously did okay the other day, or they're just busy, they can't make it. But I'm so thrilled to be here, Tom, to have a chat to you because I've got a lot of, obviously subscribers in New York, and there's a great bunch of guys there. And you are at the edge. You're one of the leading players in New York in terms of what you're doing and encouraging, and the ambassador roles. We'll go through all that. And what you're doing to encourage the whole growth of this industry is just commending. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Awesome.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks.
And I got my gourmet coffee this morning, so I'll be obviously having that. I got my coffee. How you doing? I love New York. I haven't been there yet. I'll get there at some point. I will get there.
Definitely. You got to come out for a group ride.
Love to. Now, Tom, first of all, we'll talk about obviously we'll go through the whole myriad of what your history is and how you got into this and the amazing role you've got now as ambassador for Evolve as well as previously Boosted. What a great cap that's got, a couple of caps there on your head, so it's amazing. So first of all, tell me, Tom, do you remember what and where you were the first time you came across an e-board?
An e-board, yeah, actually. Yeah. So this was like a long time ago. This was before Boosted. I think before Boosted was even a thing. One of my buddies at the office I worked at the time had, oh man, I forgot the name of it. They're gonna make fun of me so bad. So it was one of those really old, thick longboards that had two pressure plates that you stepped on. So you had to step on the front and it would go, and you stepped on the back and it would slow down. I forgot what the brand is called. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know the one. Very early.
And they're really big, really big. I forgot what the name of it is. Bill Friedman. If Bill Friedman sees this, he's going to be so mad that I forgot the name of this. He loves us.
Just throw in the comments. Yeah, look, if you've learned on that, my God,
that was the first time I saw one. And I was like, what the heck is going on here? It had big rubber tires. It didn't look like a skateboard. It was something else. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, I have two of them because it breaks down all the time. I need two to have parts in and out. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And he was like, you want to go for a ride? Because he saw I skated to work every day at the time on my regular skateboard, or my regular longboard. He's like, yeah, want to go for a ride? And so we went for a ride on lunch one day, and like it was awesome. It was cool, but it just wasn't for me. Like having a foot control was just like not. It's like not. It doesn't feel like a skateboard. Yeah, it's so sketchy. And like people, I feel like if you build that, you like don't know. I don't know. Like you haven't been that on a skateboard that much, because when you're on a skateboard, you're constantly moving your feet around. You're always moving your feet around, kind of like adjusting your position. Like you hit bumps and things like that. And like that thing, I feel like if I hit a bump, I could either like gas it really hard or I would be like slamming on the brakes uncontrollably. So, Z-board. It was called the Z-board.
Z-board,
boom.
That's right.
That's what it was. Yeah. So that's what that was. And yeah, they're still around. I've seen a few. Some come out on group rides, and I mean, I've seen some pretty interesting crashes with those too.
That's awesome. It's true. So your background, just digress a second, your background, Tom, is a skater. So you've been skating skateboard since you were how old are you now roughly, and how long have you been skating for?
Yeah, so I'm 31 now. And so just to clear that up, I actually was never really a skateboarder. I started on longboards. That was my thing. My first longboard was like a 48-inch Sector 9 pintail. I got that my senior year in high school and rode that all through college. And then when I got out of college, one of my buddies, Sam Sheffer, was like, hey, man, you should try this boosted board thing. And I was like, no, that's not cool. That's lame. I wasn't into it because I was a longboard, right? Yeah. No, I'm going to push. Why would I ever need a motor? And then I rode one. And then I rode one, and I was like, oh, man.
Wait till you get to my age. Motors are conditional always. It's interesting. You mentioned you come from a longboard. I come from a skateboarding background, and I, like you as well, Tom, I didn't have the flick, Rod Muller thing, the flick banisters. Those guys are really, they're hardcore in their knees. And I went like you. I was mainly surfing, and then when I wasn't surfing with the surface flat, I was skating like a surfer, like Dogtown Z-Boys and Tony Alva and Jay Adams. So I was really surfing on land like you were doing longboarding. Were you doing downhill stuff, or were you just cruising?
So in college, we did a little bit of downhill. It wasn't ever too intense, but we did get full helmets and slide gloves and that kind of thing. And so we were doing slides and pendies and 180s and stuff down some hills. Wow. So we knew we did get pretty good, and we went to parking garages and that kind of thing. There was this one parking garage in New Brunswick. It was a circle, and we'd go down the bottom, and then there was an air-conditioned elevator. We'd take that back to the top and then do it again. So that was a good one. And that's kind of like we just learned.
Hearing that, I understand now how your style is. I watch your style. You've got a beautiful style. That is where you've come from. You come from a carving street surfing style, and that's very different to a lot of guys who come in at skating from nothing really. They have a more wooden and a more speed orientated type ride style. So yeah, that's obviously that makes sense completely now. That's awesome, Tom. Brilliant. Now you would have come to this like a fish to water. It would have been very easy for you. Very, very beautiful. Yeah. And you obviously you've been doing it longer than anyone, so or probably not as long as me, but yeah, a long time. The Vietnam War was still on when I got my first skateboard. Cadillac wheels wasn't even formed. The urethanes weren't even out. I had clay wheels. Okay, the next question. Okay, on the 8th of June 2017, you posted a video of your boosted, right? That was the first time. Was that the first time riding a boosted, or was that your board, or was that how'd that come about, the boosted thing? You mentioned Sam showed you his and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so is that the picture of me in like a bandana with like long hair and I'm holding the board out like this? I'm trying to think. I don't know the exact date.
That's the one.
Okay, that was probably the day I got my first boosted board. So Sam Shepard told me about it. He's like, you got to try it, blah, blah, whatever. And so I went to Aether Apparel in Soho, and they had a demo board. And they let me actually just like ride it back and forth in the store. And like, I wasn't expecting anything. I was like, this is going to be terrible. Like, cause just looking at how small it was compared to what the Z board was that I saw like a few years ago, like being like, oh, like this is going to be slow. It's not going to have any, and in the store, like they just let me put it in like eco mode or whatever. And like, just feeling how torquey it was. And like, it just wanted to go. I was like, oh man, like this is going to be crazy. And then, I was able to ride to work with that at the time. So I was like, oh, like I can get to work. It has the 5-mile range. It was the standard range battery at the time. And so I called my girlfriend at the time, and I was like, hey, like, I think this boosted board thing is going to be for me. Like, I really want to buy it. It's like $1,500. Like, do you think I should get it? And she was like, you've been talking about it for like months. Just go buy it. And so I went back into the store.
What a great girlfriend.
I went back in the store. Yeah, it was great. She was like so totally about it. I went back in the store. I bought it. I rode my bonger there. I don't have my bonger here with me, but I have my I don't know where my camera is. My Tarub, my other one of my other longboards right there.
Wow.
So I skated home with the boosted box on my regular skateboard or on my regular longboard, and then I got home, charged it, and like I was riding all night, probably until like 10, 11 o'clock. And she's like, "It's dark. You still go out?" I was like, "I got a flashlight. It's fine."
And then she's going, you take that thing back.
Exactly. You told me it was okay.
That's awesome. My God. I've got a Booster Mini X, and I must say, very impressed with the sophistication of the Booster machine. It is literally over-engineered to a point where it's one of their downfalls in a way with the BMS and the battery. It was just so complex that it sort of logs when you turn it on, when you turn it off, when you don't turn it, when you win, how fast you rode, what date you rode. It's got like a CPU in there in that battery BMS. It's virtually a robot. And it takes over and says, oh, Penman, you didn't charge it properly, and you only rode it for 2 weeks last month, and I'm not going to give you another bit more battery. You're going to go to 80% only. And I've got a whole hack coming on my channel how to fix that boosted problem and get them back up 100%.
Definitely. I saw a few Reddit posts come out.
Yeah,
sorry.
And they are really a beautiful machine. And I must say, you picked the right board to jump on with. Shame what's happened to Boosted. Again, it was just a bad management style, the way they did their customer service. But we could talk about it for ages.
Definitely.
But moving on to Evolve. Now, obviously going from an amazing, cool brand like, Boosted and Casey Neistat and Sam Sheffer, and the whole issue of, this is the BMW electric skateboards. It's a street wheel only, no all-terrain. How did... what's it like going from that to Evolve, where Evolve, I'm Australian, so I'm not knocking. Jeff's done an amazing job, and I've got a couple of Evolves myself. There's some issues I have with them, but they're pretty good. They're a nice machine. They work well, they're reliable. But so how did it go from going from Boosted to an Evolve in terms of how did that transition go? And also bring into that the all-terrain ride, because you weren't an all-terrain rider. I call them pram wheels. I like them. I use them, but I don't like them a lot. But how did you go from that, and what was your impressions of the whole product?
Definitely, yeah. So
and the culture too. The culture, yeah.
Yeah, totally. So definitely, it was it was an interesting time when Boosted went under because I didn't get too much of a notice. I got maybe 2 hours of notice before the actual blog post went up. So it kind of all like came to like a screeching halt all at once. So it was just definitely unfortunate.
Just like their batteries,
Yeah, I don't know. So at that point, I was like, okay, like let me just take some time. And so like I emptied out the whole Boosted storage unit. Ended up having like 22 boards in New York City that I kind of like gave to some friends. I sold some, whatever. But Matty from Evolve like reached out. He probably waited like a week or so and sent me messages like, hey man, like really sorry about Boosted, all that. Whenever you're looking for your next board, like let us know. We're here for you guys. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, that was kind of like a nice way to approach it. Like they weren't just trying to like snipe me or anything like that. Cause they do know I have like a pretty big following in New York and then we do have some really big rides and stuff. Oh, hey, Paul, what's going on? Paul Stallone is my buddy in Long Island out there.
Paul,
he's a good dude.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
I interviewed Paul last week. Paul's a great guy. Lovely bloke.
Oh yeah. I watched the stream last night. Yeah. He's a good dude. All totally unicycle now, pretty much. He's totally switched over.
Kyle, hello to Kyle too. Kyle has asked a question about helmets.
Oh yeah, totally. Let's get to these questions.
Thank you, Kyle.
Should we answer this question here first about Kyle?
Yeah, why not? Let's go for it. Yeah.
Totally. Kyle, yeah. So I personally rock a TSG pass. That's my preferred helmet. Just because of the face shield and everything. Like I want that chin guard and all that. I do wear like a regular skate helmet every now and then if I'm just gonna go out and like cruise around a little bit. But if I'm gonna go on a group ride, I'm gonna wear my big full face helmet.
Yep.
But yeah, to get back to Evolve.
The Evolve, going to Evolve, And then how did you find the culture? You're with an Aussie brand now, my man. Good day. An Aussie brand. Good to see. We'll get you an Aussie accent.
Definitely, yeah. So, Maddie reached out and was like super kind and everything and very generous about it. So, like, I waited a few weeks. I didn't really want to kind of jump on it immediately. And then I also had another buddy, so Mike McHugh, who used to be with Boosted, is now with Dot boards. And so he sent me a Dot to try out for a little bit. I had one of those for about 2 weeks, and then we ended up sending it back. Cool board, just not personally for me. And so I
totally agree. I've looked at it. It's a beautiful aesthetic board. There's some issues with the active mechanics and the motors. I feel myself they've got to improve it. They can get some good feedback from the riders, and they'll do okay. It's Globe International, so it's a big company. They've got the R&D to do that, so they've got to improve it.
Yeah, they definitely have huge backing. So interesting about that. I don't know. Have you ridden one before?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've ridden
so
twice.
So the remote, I was like totally like, oh my god, that remote's crap. But then I like actually used it. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It was actually kind of pretty intuitive.
It is. It's pretty good. It's interesting. It just fits in the palm, and you've got like a pressure plate. You can't tell the buttons. There's a dead.
Yeah, it was a little bit interesting. The way like using the brake, you have to kind of use like your back fingers, and I was like, I don't know, this is a little strange. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, how do you think about the Evolve remote? Do you like the R2? Do you like the trigger thumb? This is a really good good question because what do you think about it? What are your views? So
the Evolve remote, it's nice. It took me a few days to get used to it. And it still isn't like the perfect input devices in my mind. I mean, I have 6,000, 7,000 miles on boosted boards, right? So like I'm just 100% used to that thumb throttle. And
I agree. Yeah.
It's just like second nature to me. And like I've only put like maybe 200-300 miles on my Evolve so far. So like definitely just getting that muscle memory down. And like now I'm definitely like comfortable with it. Like I'm full speed, I'm full brake. Like I'm not, kind of like still being delicate with it or anything like that. I've totally got it down. But I just still feel like there could be some improvements there.
But I agree. Yeah. I mean, look, to me, I had the first remote. I was lucky to have that first remote, which I actually loved. I thought it was a nice remote. When the trigger came in the brake, it is a bit like tapping your head and rubbing your stomach. Although when you hit that thumb, it disengages the throttle. Then there's a take up as well after that. So there's a bit of an issue with that continuation of that drive, that feel. So, but look, it is good. I still love it. It's something. It's still great, and I think Evolve have done a great job for Australia. Put their mark on the world with electric skateboards, and what Jeff's done in Queensland and the boys up there. I've dealt with them a bit, and they're a great bunch of guys. They really are. You're on board with a great company, and I think you'll only just shine and buff most of their social media stuff 100%. We'll talk about it in a second. That's true. Congratulations on that. And now what do you got? What Evolve have you got? What are you riding?
So I'm on the Bamboo GTR right now. I have the 2-in-1 kit, so I have the 7-inch tires and I have the 97s. And so I rode the 7-inch tires for about 2 weeks, and I switched to the street tires, and I think I'll be staying with the street tires unless I like actually want to go off-roading.
I had a bet on that. I thought you'd be going. Do you like the stone ground? Are you playing around with stone ground, sliding on those? They're just awesome.
I haven't like gotten my slides down. I've been brake traction a little bit, but I haven't gotten my full 180s down yet. I'm still kind of working on that. So maybe in a few weeks I'll get some cool videos. But yeah, like I do like the street tires way more. The street wheels, it just way more than the 7-inch. Also like the top speed, having that like 26 miles an hour versus like the 22. And then I feel like when your battery gets to about half, it's like going like, 19, 18 miles an hour, right? But yeah, just to be able to go off-road though, having that ability is like super cool. So like if I do ever want to go just shredding off-road or something like that, where there isn't, like I do really appreciate having that option, which is very cool. Because that's just something I could have never done before, unless I took my one wheel out. But yeah.
And the roads in New York aren't amazingly great. I've seen from close-ups everywhere there. You have hit and miss areas that an all-terrain tyre there would technically be the go. Sydney's the same. We have a lot of paving here, a lot of corrugated concrete. Get it. So that becomes a real problem with those street wheels. You're gonna lose. The longevity of a board won't last if you're hammering them all the time under that.
The thing for me is like, since I've come from longboarding for so long, right? Before I got my boosted board, which has 80 millimeter kegels, like that's like the biggest, that's the biggest longboard wheel I've had before. Like I never had a wheel bigger than that before I got into e-boarding, right? So like just skating around New York City on 63 millimeters or whatever for so long, like I'm used to it. Like these cracks are like nothing for me, and I'm on 97 millimeters, and I do have a boosted with 105s on it, which is like those huge like rubber ones or whatever. But I don't know, like I feel like 97 millimeters is pretty good. I might try the 105s on the Evolve if I get a set of those. But just for me,
sorry, you keep going. Sorry.
Oh yeah, just for me personally, like 97 millimeter like feels great. It feels like the sweet spot right now. But until I have something else to compare it to.
I totally agree. I've got the 105 flywheels, ABEC 11 fluoro greens on my Evolve limited edition one with the LiPo battery. That is a beautiful ride. That is literally a sexy looking surf skateboard. That deck, I love the kicktail and the flange edges. And to me, it's my collector's item. I ride that when I really want to go out, like with a BMW somewhere and just show off. It's just those wheels are like riding on bubbles. So try the 107s. They really are a beautiful flywheel. That to me, it's just the ultimate size wheel too. I agree. Bye.
Definitely have to try them out. Yeah.
Now, the next question we've got here from Sookie and the team, and also Alister and Jack. Thank you so much for letting me step in today, and the whole team of UK Skate. This is hopefully going to get bigger and bigger, and I'm going to come in from time to time and do a little guest interview. But thank you so much, guys, and Tom, especially today. You're a big player over there in New York, and to have you guys on today, it's just awesome. We really appreciate that. Okay, what is the one thing you think you can bring to Evolve? There's something unique, and this would have been probably your selling point when they approached you, so you didn't have to say too much. But what can you bring to Evolve that say someone else couldn't, like to that whole Esk8 space, and also to their marketing, their product, whatever? Yeah.
I don't want to like toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like I definitely like kind of have like a good amount of respect of the community in New York City, just from like working at, not even just working at Boosted, just like being a decent human being. Like I worked for Boosted, sure, but like I didn't care if you didn't ride a Boosted board. Like I wasn't like, oh, everyone needs to buy a Boosted, they're the best thing in the world. Like that's just personally how I felt. I wasn't going to shove that in your face though. And like all these rides, like I'm always open to anyone coming out. So like when we do rides like unicycles, we got electric bikes, we got electric scooters. Like I don't care what you ride, I just want people to come out and have a good time. So I think a lot of people kind of understand it's more than just about me just trying to push a brand, and it's generally like I really like to skate, I really like to hang out with, let's go skate with our bros, and like that's kind of like how it is, right? So I think that's a lot of it. Yeah, I don't know, just kind of like also having Boosted like previously, and then having those big group rides where people kind of do notice, like, they recognize who I am when I do post a ride, and they're well organized. Like I definitely try to make sure my rides are super well organized. You'll see some people post rides and like they're just people get lost. They don't know where people are going. People don't wait up for other people. That's a big thing. And they'll go out for a ride and people, oh, they left me at the first traffic light. And it's like, oh, okay, like, that's not a good experience for someone to have. So like we try to make sure everyone stays together. We try to make sure everyone has a good time. It's more than just about going as fast as you can in a straight line. That's how I feel.
Got it. Now we in Sydney, I've done a few group rides myself. I've hosted a few. We have walkie-talkies, front and back, rear. We have a few apps where you can see where everybody is, so people can join us on the ride. They can see the dots moving for the front and back leader, which is pretty cool. Do you have that kind of stuff as well going? Yeah, walkie-talkies, a back leader, a front.
It depends on the ride, but yeah, we have like the Telegram app, which I don't know if anyone in New York isn't aware. There's a Telegram app, and there's live locations in there, and then that shows like where people are along the route. And then we also have like the charge map in there and everything. So if you're looking for charge spots, but yeah, like we'll post the route. If we're doing like a dedicated ride, I'll post like, all right, we're going from here to Whole Foods. We're going to charge at Whole Foods for an hour, and then we're going to go from here to the next spot. And like I kind of make sure everyone knows exactly where all the destinations are. And then depending on the ride, depending on who's there, like if we have someone that's like, hey, I'll hang in the back, I'll hang in the front, I'll hang in the middle, make sure like we kind of stay in like some type of like group where everyone knows where they are. So we try to do that. But we haven't had too many rides.
How many people on your rides, roughly?
So the last ride we did was last week. We did the Black Lives Matter electric board ride in New York City. Right. We had about 70 people show up. That was like the first ride I've had all season just because of COVID, and we haven't really kind of like we've kind of taken to the tone of the city in the NYC collective, just to kind of suppress group rides and make sure we're not like having too big of meetings, to kind of make sure we're not spreading the sickness around. Yeah. But yeah, we did the ride, and I wore a face mask, and like a lot of people had face masks on. A lot of people had full face helmets on. So like, we try to do our best. We did kind of get together a little bit for a picture, and I saw some people were kind of talking smack on that on Reddit and stuff. But we try to do our best out here, and we did it for a good cause. So we're trying to, just do some action. Yeah.
Kyle's come on and said you can get really, you can get lost very easily in New York City. I suppose it could, but you would know if I dumped you in New York blindfold and said get to a certain place, you'd know how to get there, wouldn't you, Tom? You know the whole.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of know where you're going. It really everything is in straight lines either way, right? You can figure it out, kind of. But
and
yeah,
Paul's
when you ride, definitely.
Paul's asking about, Tom, have you dialed in custom settings yet? Well, a world of difference. The app stinks except for the setting. So what's Paul talking about? That's the
So in the Evolve app, there's a dial you can turn that turns like the acceleration of like the GTR mode, or there's a custom mode. There's another layer. So Paul was telling me about this a few weeks ago. I haven't actually tried it yet. I'm still in GTR mode, but I will do that probably this weekend for you, my man.
Awesome. Okay, that's brilliant. Now, I suppose the next thing we talk about the Boosted. Obviously, Boosted was the biggest brand in the world, and rightfully so. It was just an incredible board and technology. You've gone now to Evolve, which is a leading brand, one of the biggest in Australia, one of the biggest in the world in terms of its reach and its customer service base. Were you ever considered being an ambassador for anyone else, or like for Cali with the trampa bills? Or the Metro board is really stepping up their game too. Were you ever considering putting feelers out, or did you just accept what came, or did you have any ideas about where you wanted to go in terms of ambassador after Boosted?
Yeah, so I've ridden an Evolve before, and I definitely like see how much range they get, and that always made me jealous about riding a boosted board next to someone on an Evolve. Like when we go to like charge or whatever on a group ride, I'm like 7 miles in and I'm dead battery, and then he's like, "Oh, I got 85% battery left," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, okay, I see what's going on here." So that's definitely always caught my eye, and it's always been kind of like boosted Evolve, right? And so like it's kind of a lot of that back and forth where. Like personally, it just was always the like they were one of the leaders in the industry, and like they've always kind of had my eye. I like the way the board looks. I like the way the board rides. The remote, it's something that we can work on. But yeah, like it was really kind of like I knew of Evolve. I really wanted to kind of do something with one of the larger companies that are out there, and I definitely felt like Evolve was the right match. And so when they reached out, it was kind of like, I definitely like waited a few weeks before we kind of moved on anything. But yeah, it was definitely always kind of Evolve in the back of my mind as where so hopefully
you had your sort of heart set and your eyes set on Evolve. That's awesome. Big shout. We got Scott Davies in the house, Josephine Tyne. Thank you. Hi, Andy. Scott Davies asked, well, Josephine's been all through New York, so she knows that area backwards, and it's an amazing place to ride. I can't wait to get there. Scott Davies said he did dial in those settings, Tom, and he said they were unbelievable on the Stoke. And he's a great YouTuber in Sydney here. Check out his channel. Scott Davies is an amazing reviewer, very honest, very down to earth. So there you go. You've got to get into that dial up.
Nice. I got to try the app. Yeah, I got to get in there.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I gotta crank it to 11. That's what Paul said. Crank it to 11.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so here we go. Now, what's something? This is a good question. What's something misunderstood about you as an Esk8 ambassador? I.e., I'm thinking, you get free boards, you get looked after, blah, blah. How many hours work do you do? What's involved? Tell us about your day-to-day grind being an ambassador and the misunderstandings of people about what you do. Like, I get that with my job too, in the YouTube, getting free boards, etc. I covered that last night. So yeah, tell us about that. That's the misunderstandings of what is involved in what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I would say it's a little bit more work than what a lot of people think. It's not just I get free boards and I go skate, right? So like hosting a group ride is fun, yes, but hosting a group ride is very, very stressful and also requires a lot of work. You have to know where you're going. You have to know where the charge spot's on. You have to kind of make sure you're leading that group. You can't just be riding along with everybody. And then all of a sudden this group takes a left, that guy takes a right. Like you really kind of have to make sure you're herding cats the whole time. You're making sure everyone's in line, right?
I love it.
So.
I love that.
And trying to make sure everyone stays together and stuff. So it's more than just I did get a free board. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys. Like I got a free Bamboo GTR, and like that's amazing. But it will come with me.
You work for it. You will work for it, believe me.
Exactly. And so like when we do start having more demos and things like that, like I'm out there, when I worked at Boosted, we were doing demos at Philippachi. I'm sure we'll do demos at Philippachi with Evolve too. They're also one of the retailers out here. And they're definitely like, it's a long day, right? You're doing a demo from noon to 6 p.m. and like you're getting people on the board, you're teaching them how to ride the board, you're showing them how to ride the board, and it's like constantly like you're cranking out like 50 demos an hour or whatever, and it really is more than just like skating and getting free stuff, right? There's a lot of work involved too. So I think definitely that's like a little bit misunderstood about what I do personally.
Well, that's a good point, because I think the YouTube thing is just crazy. I did 40 hours last week. I didn't work that hard in my full-time job before I retired. It sucks you in because we're passionate about what we do. We love this industry. We love it's a sport. It's better than golf or tennis or whatever, fishing. And it's quicker, fun, exhilarating. And you do get sucked into it. So therefore, guys, if you're watching this and you're thinking these ambassador roles are easy, Tom's telling us straight here now, they're not. And don't start a YouTube channel. You'll regret it. Believe me, it's a nightmare. Now, listen, tell me a bit about, this is something very interesting. Tell me what changed about your life when you started electric skateboarding, apart from the commuting aspect, which is an amazing way to get around. Yeah, you're smiling. Isn't that a best aspect? And how to change your life? And apparently your girlfriend rides too. Is that correct? You go riding together?
Yeah, so my fiance now, we've been together for 8 years. Yeah, and so thank you. Yeah, we're getting married next September.
Only kidding. Why does he keep doing that? Is he sponsored by Red Bull?
Sponsored. So. This was free. This is a free can, and then Coca-Cola products. Yeah, So when Boosie came out the scooter, I got a few of those out here. So she has a Rev that she rides primarily all the time whenever we go skate. So like I'll take out the Evolve and she'll take out the Rev and we'll rip like 10 miles and come home. So yeah, she shreds. She's like full speed, 24, 25 miles an hour on that thing. Definitely when I had that was another thing. When I had the AT tires on, I couldn't keep up with her because she was faster than me. I was like, okay, all right, we need to switch this up here. But yeah, definitely what changed about my life in New York. I feel like I know like I can't say commuting, but like commuting in New York City is like a huge part of what has improved about my life with e-boards, right? So like I live in Manhattan, my office is in Brooklyn, which is like the opposite commute that like a lot of people do. So I walk up to 8th Avenue, I take the 8th Avenue subway all the way over to Williamsburg. I take the L train. And that like normally took me like 45 minutes, something like that in the morning to get to work. It wasn't terrible, but when I take a board, I can get there in 17 minutes. It's like unbelievable. The difference is crazy. I also like am stoked to like wake up and like, oh, it's like 80 degrees out. It's gonna be like a great day to just like shred to work, get a coffee on the way. I'm drinking coffee, ride my board. Like it's just amazing. And then also like the whole community aspect though, like I've made so many friends from e-boarding that it's just like unbelievable. Like I could probably say like more than half of my friends are all e-boarders now, which is crazy. And even the people that I had known before, like all my buddies that we used to bomb hills with in high school and college and stuff, they all got e-boards now. So like we all just ride all the time. And so it's definitely it's definitely a way of life. Like when I was working when I was working for Boosted, like every season I had worked for them, I earned a board, and I gave my brother a board at one point. I gave one of my roommates, my best man, a board. His brother got a board. Like everyone around me has a board now, and then we all just ride together. It's like great.
Oh man, that's such a great story. You know, it's true because you know the commuting aspect of electric skateboard comes into its own later. You get it because it's a toy, it's a gadget, it's cool. And then you start saying, hey, I can actually get across the city. I get from Chinatown to the harbour. Sydney Harbour in about 4 minutes. That's about 12 blocks. And I scream along the bike lanes or the footpaths, and you got your wind in your hair, so you're cool and you feel like you're not hot. And in fact, I would have worn my Hugo Boss suit and ridden if I was still working with my board to work because they're so safe and reliable. These things, that the technology is great. So that's an aspect that people overlook. The commuting aspect is one of the greatest advantages of these things. Agreed. Yeah.
This board back here, that boosted in the background, that way. That's my original V2 that I bought before I worked for Boosted. That board has 3,500 miles on it. Hey Jeffrey, what up, bro? How's it going? That's the X-Way ambassador in New York right now, Jeffrey. He's a good dude.
What's up, Tom? Hey, Jeffrey.
But yeah, that board is like, that was my OG board. That board has so many miles on it. I've changed the wheels a bunch of times. I've changed the trucks on it and stuff, just customized the hell out of it. But yeah, that board like got me to and from work for a solid 2 years, like no problem.
Jeez, that is incredible. Yeah, you work out how much you save in cabs, taxis, underground, the whole thing, plus the convenience of getting there quicker. I ride to the shop now, mine. I don't get the car out because I'm only 4 minutes from the shops, but yeah, it is quicker. It's just once you get that in your head, the methodology of it's a commuting tool as well. It becomes another aspect to the whole thing. Now, another question we got here. Sookie's asked a really good question, and this is probably one for the end, but I'll say it now. I'll give it to you now. If in 108 years science fails to save us, and that all that's left is a book about your life, what would the title of your book be, and what would the blurb tell us about Tom Pagut? It's an interesting one.
That is a crazy question, but
30.
Okay.
You're only 30. There'll be two books. There'll be one now, and one when you're 80, probably.
Yeah. You know that meme of the dude that is on the snowmobile and he puts on the helmet and he goes, "Are you silly guys? I'm just gonna send it," and then launches it over the hill. Have you seen that meme? I don't know. I'll show it to you later.
Yeah.
I think that would be like a encapsulation of like how I feel about everything. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a great attitude. You're pretty much a millennial, and you guys have come into an incredible time after baby boomers and obviously with properties and money and savings and stuff. But to come into an industry where you've got this, you're lucky enough to be alive at a time when really batteries became small enough to propel a human body and be able to carry a board. It didn't happen 50 years ago, and this has only happened in your lifespan, and I'm lucky to have seen it in my lifetime. Exciting stuff. So yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me, Tom, so having come from being a longboarder, what are the two skill sets that you most use on your electric skateboard?
So I feel like from skating in the streets for so long before I actually got a board, there's that kind of awareness that I have that maybe some people that just got a board don't kind of read into, where you're kind of always scanning everything all the time, and there's not any one time where you're just staring in one direction. You kind of make sure that guy's on the sidewalk, that rock is fine, this crack is good, that bike over there is not crossing the lane. Like you kind of have to like assess everything at one time. And even with that, I've broken this hand 2 times and I got hit by a car. So like, things happen. And you can't really like, protect yourself. You just do everything you can to make sure you're in the safest situation. And also that's another thing is I feel like definitely people kind of get overconfident, and you you look and you don't see something and you send it, right? And then boom, something comes out. You didn't expect it, right? So in that situation anymore, it's not about just being there as fast as possible. It's like, all right, I'm going to actually like approach this block, make sure nothing is there, like slow down and be sure be positive before I actually make that move. And that was my mistake when I got hit by a car. Is I read the light wrong. I thought I had the crosswalk, but the crosswalk was kind of like tilted on this angle, so it wasn't actually like perfectly facing me. But I saw the white person walking, and I saw the red light, but I saw the white person. I was like, okay, cool. Like in New York, the crosswalks normally go a little bit before the lights go, but I think the crosswalk sign was angled towards the other way, and then I just read it wrong and got hit. But
wow,
definitely.
Gee, so you broke your wrist? Did you? You broke it?
So I didn't break my wrist getting hit by a car. When I got hit by the car, I actually was like pretty much fine. I just had like a bruised hip. But I broke my hand once on a Raptor at a Raptor demo that came to New York City one time. I think it was like the Raptor V1 or something like that way before. And so like they gave me the remote and they told me that it was like in the slow mode, and I was like, okay, cool, like no worries. And I like sent it, and they didn't tell me that the slow mode was just a lower acceleration, not a lower top speed. And I was like, this is going really fast. And then I kind of wobbled out, hit the brakes, and like locked it, and then fell and broke my hand. No problem there, no worries. That was pretty much my fault. And then the second time was again, I got overconfident, I think. So I was riding home in the rain. I'm trying to get there as fast as possible. It's downpouring at this point. I'm like, oh shit, this is terrible. And there's like a FedEx truck, and I'm like kind of making a left around the FedEx truck to like go down the street, and a lady walks out from behind the FedEx truck. And so like I hit her, she hit me like right at the same time. She was totally fine, but I like fell off and like flew and hit my hand. And I immediately knew. I was like, oh, I broke it again, damn it. So but yeah, overconfidence, definitely.
Do you now, because of that, do you now wear wrist guards, or you don't worry about that? Or
so I don't wear wrist guards, but I do wear Flatland 3D gloves. So I have like the skid pads on your hands or whatever, and that's definitely saved me a few times. So they like slide out and they're like pretty good. But yeah, I don't know. Like I just personally don't like wrist guards. I don't like the restriction. Like I can't. I need to be able to use my hand. I need to be able to get my phone in my pocket. I need to be able to grab things. I don't like the wrist guards. Your hands like. Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting. So the Flatland gloves, see, I don't use gloves at all. I don't wear a lot of padding, and I want to talk a bit about falling and your technique of falling, but I don't use anything. I've never broken a bone in my body. I've been riding for 47 years, and I think the trick is I played what we call rugby league here for a long time, which is very heavy game, much more heavy than NFL, and I've learned to hit the ground differently, where you put your hand out and you use it as like a parachute jump, and you bend it in and you roll on your arm, on your shoulder. So do you have a technique of falling over the years on longboards that's helped you, a technique of how you fall? Do you feel confident falling, or you...
So at low speed, yeah, I totally feel comfortable falling. Like that's part of like longboard dancing is like I'm always kind of like walking around, lose my balance, like kind of, and at low speed, I feel like I'm pretty good. Like I'm good at like letting my body kind of roll in the way it's going to go, and like that's kind of fine. But that's the thing is like when you fall at 22 miles an hour, like there's not much you can do to really save yourself. No. Like sure, you can put your hands out, but like you're gonna skip along the pavement for a good bit, and you're gonna hit some stuff, and that's kind of what happened. But the Flatland gloves definitely I would say are probably one of the best. I have the half finger ones, and they're so good. Like that's pretty much what I wear all the time.
Dave's asking a question. Thanks, Dave. Dave Ravens on board. Any thoughts on the Rebel kit? Have you looked at the Rebel kit?
I've seen it. That's the direct drive. You just bolt onto the bottom, right? Like kind of like a mellow. So I've seen it. I haven't tried it or anything though. Yeah.
Well, David, I've had a go of it. Scott Davies might jump in, maybe if he's still online. He's got it. I've ridden it. It's an incredible piece of machinery. It is a very sophisticated booster build, and that direct drive is actually the future, I reckon, coming through now. That's what I'm thinking. I've got a couple on my channel I'm going to do next week. They are incredible. If you want one, they're hard to get, but if you can get one, they're brilliant. Kyle Harvey's asking, when you slide out with your chin hits the ground is what found the hard way. he hit his chin. So, Kyle, you got a full face helmet.
You get that TSG. You got to get that TSG pass. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got Brett. Hey, Brett. How's it going, Brett? He's in Canada.
It's awesome. Yeah, Brett. Oh, that's awesome. Just jump in, Tom, if you see questions come through. So I suppose you touched on something you do, which is very unique, which I do a bit myself. I walk the board a little bit. I haven't done it for a while now, but you do an amazing walking the board, a bit of dancing your board, flipping around, switch foot. I do a bit of switch foot from left to right on my skate, but I haven't tried it much on my longboard, which I'm sure will be fine. So yeah, tell me when you got into that. It's a great talent. I love what you do. It's a great that's great ability and the feature of your riding. Yeah, so tell us how you got into that.
Yeah, so that definitely started in college. And so I had that Sector 9 pintail I talked about for a while.
Oh, yeah.
So that was the first board I had. And then I started to get serious, and I bought a loaded dervish. And the loaded dervish kind of changed what I thought about longboards. It kind of opened me up to a whole new kind of like longboarding. Just that loaded, the flexi deck and like the things you could do on that board. We were doing downhills on it. I was doing dancing on it. We were doing slides on it. Like it was totally like a freestyle board that I could kind of do anything on. And so that's kind of where I first learned how to do the cross step and like all like those beginner kind of like longboard moves.
Yeah.
Let's see here. I have some Instagram video. I don't know if I could share my screen with you.
Yeah, try. Colin, you're a computer guy. You can do this.
Let's see. Share screen. And then if we do this. Now, does that work? Can you see that? Or no?
No, not there. That's
okay. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we
Beautiful. Go. All right. We got people in the background. Now it's probably Sookie killing it. Awesome. Yeah. So after I met up with the boosted kind of like NYC e-boarding crew the first time, I went out with Tashawn Fahey, who you guys probably know.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's really loud. Is that really loud? Can you guys hear that? Is the sound coming through?
No, that's great.
Okay. Yeah. So this is some dancing we did after we met up.
Wow. The 1 foot balance is insane. That is a really hard technique to do. Really hard.
Pogart.
Oh, beautiful. Ah, brilliant. That's classic New York stuff, isn't it? That's just love it. Just love it.
So that was kind of before I got good on a boosted board. And then we got some like little balancing tricks on the boosted here. This is way back in the day.
Yeah. A great technique too, Tom, that when you're going up a very heavy back concrete road, so protect the back hubs, the back belt motors, hubs, whatever you have on the back of the board, by putting your weight to the front really helps protect them, takes the weight off by about 80%.
Some more stuff here. And then more recently, I was out on the Volve a few days ago. Let's see. This one's really cool.
Oh, I saw that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Are you finding the all-terrains easier to do the dancing, walking?
Not really. I feel like the ATs, since they're higher up, it kind of threw off my balance just a little bit. I do prefer being lower to the ground. I feel like that helps me out.
Yeah, I agree. I tried on my Volve, and it's better on the street wheels. I just usually do a bit of a move to the front, back, and then sometimes I do this. I've done a switch for a couple of times when you just. But that is beautiful, my man. That is awesome.
Yeah, so we're doing some of that. But yeah, that's longboard dancing, and so I've been doing that for a long time.
Wow! If you're watching this, Dimitri, hey, a big hello, Dimitri Williams. He's, I think, one of my subscribers as well. Holy heck, Andrew Penman, nice to see you here. And reason I got into ASV yourself. Oh, thank you so much. I've still got that board. I have not sold one of my boards, so I keep everything. And that is a great board. Thank you so much. This is the kind of stuff that we do. See, Tom, you and I are in a very unique position where, you know, we're able to guide people, help. And how do you feel about that, being a part of this whole phenomenon, the cutting edge? You're making a difference in people's lives. Does that make a difference to your life with helping people?
Oh, it's great. Like, I love it. That's like part of why I'm like so into it, is like a lot of people come into electric skateboarding. They've never been on a skateboard before. And like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, we totally want anyone who wants to join, right? Like, I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. But you do need to spend more time being comfortable on it at that point, right? Like, you do want to put more time into learning how to, the fundamentals of what a skateboard is. But now you have a skateboard that goes 20 miles an hour, right? So you definitely need to have that kind of foundation. And I've definitely kind of been like a huge proponent of that in New York, where we used to do every other Sunday in the summer. We used to do flatland sessions, and it would kind of be more of like a beginner's day. Like, everyone would come out, we're going to hang out in this one spot. We're just going to, you know, work on like foot braking. We're going to work on kick pushing. We're going to work on balance, just to make sure that people kind of understand what it goes into a skateboard versus just you're jumping on a piece of wood with a remote. And like, yeah, that's awesome. But like, what happens if your remote dies? What happens if you get disconnected? What happens if your battery dies? Like, there's all these kind of things that, that hopefully never happen to you, but you want to be prepared for, to be able to stop on your own without having to like hit a car or something like that if your remote were to die. I don't know. Like, and so like kind of that's how I feel. You want to be able to control that, like, yourself without having to rely 100% on the motors. Even if you are mainly relying on the motors most of the time, you still want to have that ability to kind of save yourself in bad situations.
I agree. I mean, when I train someone how to ride a board, I take them to our basketball courts. We got basketball courts here, or we call them netball courts, near the beach at Curl where I surf. It's a beautiful, smooth, painted concrete, and I take them out there and I get them in low gear and just get them to use the feel of the acceleration brake and lean forward, lean back. But when I tell people, when you get a board, the thing that a lot of people do wrong is they go through intersections where you go down a little valley and up the other side, where you go across a crossing, and people seem to think, and I did initially, you accelerate through that. You accelerate and try and go through it. You don't. What you're supposed to do, I tell people, is accelerate into that crossing, back off, and just use gravity and roll through all that. At the other end, pick up the slack and take up again. And that's where a lot of people fall. They try and accelerate and brake and through crossings and up.
They're falling back, and the board's taking off in front of them. Definitely. Yeah. And like, just having that, balance. Really, it's just all about balance. Is like knowing like where to lean. Like, if you're leaning, you want to lean forward when you're accelerating, you want to lean back when you're braking, right? And just being able to be so in tune with it that you don't really have to think about it anymore. That's definitely part of like the smoothness that comes out of that too. Is just being more comfortable with it.
Kyle's saying it's all fun. Love being here. Love being part of this. Thanks, guys. It's true. This is changing people's lives. Like Kyle before this, and a lot of people probably never even thought about. Probably Kyle's been a skateboard rider all his life as well. But true, this changes your life. It's a whole image, but it's also a style. It's a whole lifestyle being a skater. But being an electric skateboard rider, e-boarder, e-skater, whatever you want to call it, it is a complete image. It's just such a cool. My daughter's 29, and I'm looking. I won't bring it up. I've got a skateboard. I've just done a pink deck for her. I'm doing the Malibu stripes and the Hawaiian stripe on it, and she's coming down 2 weeks. So I'll be taking her riding. She's loving it. She's changing her whole way of getting around Brisbane, the city, and riding. So it is the most amazing thing. And for us to be a part of this industry at such an infancy, will always be remembered as the great pioneers of this, because not like that, but I mean, we are, because no one remembers the next 10-year guys, no one remembers the 20-year guys. But because electric skateboarding has only come in 2007 on, we're at the very cutting edge, like the Mickey Dora at Malibu and the guys that were remembered as the great pioneers of longboarding. So it's a wonderfully part of this history, and it's really rewarding. So that's thank you again, Tom, for your contribution in New York. It's just it's an unbelievable amount of work you're doing. Thank you so much on behalf of the whole industry.
Thank you, and that's definitely something that I've kind of tried to I guess initiate in New York, is like there is that image where like if you are a skateboarder, like you're gonna talk trash on the guys that like ride the electric skateboards, right? Oh. And like I feel like that's a thing, right? That is a thing. You're aware of it, right? Everyone knows about it. It's like not really like a secret or anything. No. Like that's the thing in New York, is when I do these flatland sessions, we have a lot of people that show up on regular boards, right? And that's fine, that's cool, whatever. Like it's traditionally a regular skateboard event. Like we have it's the Go Skate flatland sessions. Everyone comes out and they're just learning how to ride regular skateboards. I'll show up on my Evolve with my Bongra, with my Tarab, right? Ride there.
Yes.
On that board, and then whip out my other one, and then still dance circles around them. And then they're like, oh wait, like this guy's like good, and he also has an electric skateboard. Maybe there's like a reason. And then I'm like, yo, you want to try it? And then they get on it, take off, and they're like, oh man, like I get it. Like I totally get it now. Like I could use this to get to work now. Like I don't have to take a subway. And like that's kind of the thing, is like, people are against it until they try it and love it. And like that's kind of the thing. I'm always trying to get people on it, get people to try it. But yeah.
It's true. It's to the true skaters, the guys that carve banisters and jump around and flick with the little tiny wheels, and the guys that really ham it up, they do look at us as a bit of it's a bit uncool. What are you doing? And also some of the guys are into bike riding and say, well, it's not cool. You're not getting any fitness. Well, I'll tell you now, if you get your blood pressure checked while you're riding, and you can just put your fingertips on your stomach while you're riding and feel your stomach moving in the core. My pulse rate's normally 49. It's quite low. And when I go for a ride, I get to 100 just riding, not even doing tricks like you and walking, which would be up 120 BP. It is not a bludge. It is a lot of work standing on a medicine ball for 2 hours, trying to balance. So Yeah, I challenge anyone to ride 2 hours on a skateboard, electric skateboard, and see how fit they are at the end of the day, how they walk the next day. So, yeah, it's a fallacy, and it is something that we've got to really start explaining to people. It's a workout. It is an absolute core workout from start to finish.
And not even a workout. It's like people just like write it off immediately, and that's the thing, is it's not like, it doesn't replace my other boards. It's not a replacement for a regular skateboard or regular longboard. It's an addition to it. It's another tool that I have, right? I'm gonna ride this to work. I'm not gonna get on my dervish and push 4 miles to work over the Williamsburg Bridge. Like, that's just not a thing. I'm not going to do that. But if I can get on this and get very similar experience with the remote control and, you know, all that like good stuff, like I'm going to do that. Like, that's, you know, I'd rather be on 4 wheels than sitting on the subway.
Darren's asking, hey, Darren, Darren's here. Nice to see you, Darren. Have you seen the transite board? Okay, have you heard about the transite boards?
I have not seen the transite boards. No.
Wow. Okay, there's basically I bumped into the guy who owns and founder and owner of transite boards, and it's basically a direct drive system, hand picked off. It's amazing, and I've got it on my channel next week. I've got a couple of boards to unbox, ironically, and I haven't got them to keep. They're just to unbox, but they are a beautiful DD direct drive system, and they are beautiful, Tom. They are amazing refinement.
Yeah, it looks cool. I pulled it up right now. There's I see the 4-wheel drive cross country. Yeah, there's a direct drive. Drive.
These motors, would you believe they're 64 kV, 5.5 Newton meters? They are the most incredible design fine wire motors, and what they do is they provide a top end which is really good, as a fine wire creates less amps and more voltage, so you get a much better top end. And then of course the opposite way would evolve, and a lot of people doing thicker wires for a much higher amps and lower voltage. This is a different sort of design. This is next level shit, seriously. And I've actually got them to review. I'm gonna actually maybe order one. They're absolutely incredible. So check out my channel if you want to look at those transite boards. I should get them next week. So thanks for that, Darren. That's an amazing new direction in the Esk8 technology world. So amazing. Also, I'll tell you now, Tom, have you tried the smooth stuff? Have you tried the carving boards, like the carver? In Australia, we've got the smooth stars here that I ride because I'm a surfer. Have you tried those things for the front truck that, you know, that really...
Oh, yeah. So I've seen the surf trucks, yeah, and then like the sidewinders. I think Gullwing makes a sidewinder, which kind of does the same thing. I've definitely ridden them.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, the Sidewinder is a double kingpin, similar to the Evolve, and it's a classic double kingpin. What these are, and I urge you to get one.
I think I know what you're talking about. The surf adapter. I think I might have just named it wrong, though. Yeah. The waterborne has the surf adapter. You can get the waterborne. Put them on the front of one of your boards. You will be blown away. If you like carving, and I know you do, I know what your style is, Tom, get one of those front adapters and get one and put it on. You can carve like crazy and slide the back out much easier. But I've got the Smooth Stars here. They're an Australian company, and they're Philippe Toledo, pro surfer #2 in the world, Mick Fanning, all the pro surfers, they ride the Smooth Star. On the beaches here, if you see a Smooth Star with that beautiful deck with a stripe across it, you know that guy's a surfer. He's a hot, he's got a Smooth Star. And I've got them on my channel. They're only $300, and they will ship to the States. So if you're watching here, you want to get some carving boards to really get your style even better, get yourself a Smooth Star. Don't worry about the carvers. The carver's okay, but it's not the same deck, not the same thing. We're going to get you on one of those Smooth Stars. You'll absolutely love it, Tom. It'll change your life there. I did ride somebody's, they put a surf adapter on the Boosted Stealth, and I did ride that for a little bit. Yeah. I think it was just a little too loose for me at the time, and it was more I was like, oh, this is going to really like take off on me here. It was interesting though. It was definitely cool. For slow speeds, like definitely really be able to get those huge kind of digs is cool. Definitely.
Yeah, it's like having a shopping trolley on the front of your skateboard when you first get on. You go, what the hell? I can't. It's like a Circus Soleil job, act. You can't. How can I ride this? But once you get into it, it actually is an amazing. When you get that sweet spot, and you can get up to 30 k's an hour and carve. It is absolutely incredible. Yeah. So, but that's interesting that. That someone's tried that on a booster. That's crazy. Yeah,
seems a little dangerous. Yeah. He came out on a group ride with it.
How many boosters have you still got? How many boosters you ride still?
So I have 2 at my apartment right now, and I still have 6 at my office that we're kind of keeping as like our like office fleet in case like anyone at work like needs to like go out for like a quick errand or whatever. And then I also have 1 scooter at the office too. I have 1 scooter here. I have 2 boosteds here. I have my Evolve here, and then I also have a 1-wheel here.
Wow. Tell me
I try to ride everything.
what do you think of the Rev? What do you think of the Rev? Is it a great scooter? I mean, I've never ridden it. I'd love to ride. What's it like?
So honestly, the ride is amazing. Like, I really like the ride. The only thing about the Rev is the weight and the range. And that, I think, kind of was a little bit of their downfall. Is it's 48 pounds, but it only goes about 10 miles a charge. Yeah, so that's like the downside. It has those two really powerful motors, so like it's so fun to ride. Like, it's such a fun scooter.
Yeah.
But I think kind of for the price that they were charging and for the range that you get, there's kind of a lot of other options out there that you can kind of get, like cheaper, same specs with like actual suspension, and then like a real 30-mile range. Versus like what they advertise 22, but it really only gets 10 if you're in the really high mode. So yeah, I think that was kind of the downfall of the scooter for boosted, but it's a great ride. I love it. I mean, like if it had a double the range battery at the same weight, I think it would be perfect. But yeah.
Oh, it looks aesthetically, it looks beautiful. It looks just as sexy. I mean, the industrial design of that, like all booster products, are just sexy. I mean, that booster mini I got looks like a Batmobile. I mean, I flip it upside down and wall mount it. I just love looking at that thing. It's just so sexy. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Now, so what's plans coming up for Tom Pagut? What are you up to at the moment? What's coming up the next few weeks in terms of your role, and what are you doing? And anything can sneak till the crew here? What maybe some sneak stuff coming up or something? I don't know.
Yeah, so now that kind of New York is rolling into phase 2, we'll probably start having some more group rides soon. So definitely everyone in New York City, be look out on the Facebook page and like on my Instagram and all that for notifications on group rides, because we'll be doing some more of those soon. I'm still going to be wearing my mask, but definitely people come out. We'll have a good time. We'll try not to charge as much. We'll see. Now that I don't need to charge, we'll depending on how many booster boards come, right? Because that's the thing, right? Like, I still want everyone to come out. Like, I don't want to kind of cut off a bunch of the community just because they don't have a range for a certain amount of ride. So we'll kind of see what happens there. But yeah, we'll probably have a ride sometime soon.
Wonderful. With Evolve, what's happening with Evolve? Is anything coming out of Evolve lately? Being an ambassador, you're pretty close to the coalface there. What's anything knowing? No, there's obviously no new products coming out, but you said you might get a Stoke. I personally have ridden it. It's nice. I don't think it's as great as what I thought it'd be, but yeah, are you going to be getting a Stoke maybe, or?
Yeah, I'll probably get a Stoke at sometime soon. That'll be really cool. I do have a bushings kit on the way, so I'm looking forward to testing out all the different bushing options that they have. Just to kind of try to find my perfect balance. I do feel like the stock bushings are a little soft, and they kind of don't really kind of return to center as fast as I like. That could be just to do the double kingpins, or I haven't had my trucks right now, but I do think I need a firmer bushing on there. That'll definitely help out. But yeah, I do have a little bit of information that a lot of people in New York will be excited for.
Here we go. There's a scoop here.
We're planning. I don't have a date or anything yet, but we are planning on renting a go-kart track in New York to have go-kart race Esk8 events like they do in other cities that you've seen. So I don't know, you've seen like the World Cup and things like that. We're gonna do something like that in New York. Maybe not officially organized race, but we will have a go-kart track day with Esk8 in New York, which will be sick.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we're jealous here. We haven't got that shit going on. We've got streets close to nice ocean. That's pretty cool. But wow, that's awesome. That's full face helmet stuff for sure that day.
Yeah, I'm gonna pad up, elbow pads, knee pads, all that. Like, just kind of gear up, because I'm gonna try to win if we're doing races.
Yeah, you got it. You've got it. You're an ambassador, my man. You're gonna have to lead the way on the Evolve. Tell me something. Scott Davies is asking, Tom, if you could build your perfect board. Now, before you answer this question, do you build boards at all?
So I do not. I'm no engineer. I don't build boards. I do build computers, but I don't build boards. So that is
please. You have to show the audience your computer. Now, off topic. Just drag that around. Show me.
Okay. All right.
Hyper-threading. This computer is. Look at this. Look at this.
So yeah, this is my computer right here.
My gosh.
Custom built all that, all the piping I bent myself. It's deionized water in there with a little bit of like radiator fluid to kill any kind of growth. But yeah, it's my gaming computer. This is where I
Oh
do
my God. You're living
everything
the dream,
nowadays.
my man. Tom, you're living the dream.
I mean, when you're working
If you
from home
can,
for so long, this is my battle station. This is where work
yeah,
happens.
that's
This
right.
is where
This is a
gaming happens. This is everything.
it's also a tax deduction. Let me put
Yeah.
tell me something. Tell me something. If you could build that, you could obviously build skateboards. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you're a very clever, switched-on guy. But yeah, I agree. I'm like you. I don't build. I just ride, and I do repair and fix and hack and modifications on my channel. I help people with that. But yeah, I think with Scott's asking, yeah, well, Scott, that's pretty answer for you. Tom's not building stuff, but some of the
I could theoretically answer that though.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Can you please answer?
All right.
It'd be wonderful.
Okay. So everything about the Evolve is great. I love the board, but I would prefer the ESC and the remote control from the boosted with the range and the speed and the wheel options of the Evolve. I feel like the boosted is just smooth. There's just something a little bit smoother about it. Not that the Evolve is bad. It is just different. And getting used to that has taken me some time. But I do think that having that range and having those options with like that smooth acceleration, one input too, that would be kind of primo for me.
Absolutely, and I agree. I've got a Booster Mini, and the refinement on that ESC is one of those Kentucky Fried Chicken secret herbs and spices. Whoever created that with Sancho or someone did that, they know how to do a speed controller, and it is absolutely unbelievable. It has like a centrifugal limited slip diff. So it kind of each wheel will turn independently. It's like nothing else in the industry, and I must say, it was over-engineered. That was a problem with it, but it is a beautiful curve on that acceleration. Evolve has that slight jerky thing. You've got to really bend the knees.
Just a little bit. Yep. Now that I've gotten used to it, though, like from a standstill, that was the thing. Like when I first got the Evolve, that was just like that first bit of acceleration, especially on the street wheels. Like it goes, it wants to go, and it really wants to. Like it doesn't care if you're ready or not. It's gonna go. But like now, you really just kind of I brace myself. I feel like a second before I normally would on a boosted, and I'm fine now. Like I'm totally like against that pressure. Like it's not gonna kind of jerk me off or anything like that.
And don't get me wrong, that's addictive. That bite is very addictive after a while. You sort of want that. When you go to a hard motor, where it's especially the hobby wing Esks are so smooth and so nice takeoff. You put your mother on that, you know. That's you lose that sort of bitey feel a bit. So it's all horses for courses and what you prefer. And for me, I think the Evolve's got a few things to work on. I think they could improve the battery situation, no doubt. I think they did drop the ball a bit on that. The 18650s, they should have gone for a 21700 or a 30Q. They should have even gone a little better with the batteries. The range we're getting in Sydney aren't great on the GTRs. They didn't really do any performance increase in terms of the motors. The motors get very hot still. Look, I'm Australian and I love Evolve, but technically it's one of those things where, I just think that, they've got a little bit more to do, but they're doing very well. And I'm very proud they got you on board because I think that's an asset to them incredibly. So, yeah, Tom, welcome aboard. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, thank you.
I'm not part of Evolve, by the way, but I just I'm Australian. Now, some questions Sookie's got, some more ones here. Okay, so there's some really hypothetical, some great questions here. Big shout out to Sookie there. She's watching, overseeing all this. Cutting me off at some point if I say the wrong thing. Okay, so as a rider in the industry and being from the beginning and being right into this, what are 3 things, wish lists, I suppose, that you'd like to see in this Esk8 space to change it, improve it, or what are 3 things if you could do a magic wand? What would you do to change? And money's no question. Just I'll give you 10 million hypothetically.
So are we talking about the community itself or just a product, like a physical product?
Oh, the let's incorporate it as everything from the Esk8 space to online to. Now I know you're going to provide a lot of social media. You are a media social guru, so you're going to be bombarding the world with great content on Evolve. So Evolve, I hope you're paying this man well if you're watching. So yeah, what would you do in terms of equipment, design? I've got some ideas in my head, but the whole space, you could do a magic wand and change or increase or improve something in the industry. What would you do?
I would kind of like, I think my thing is towards the community is everyone about like how brandism everyone is. Where like, you don't ride my board, you don't ride this board, your board sucks, this board sucks. Like who cares? Who cares? Come freaking skate. Yeah, like I don't care what you ride. Like that's the thing is like people are just so into like, oh, they're talking trash on this board and that board, blah blah. Like it doesn't matter. We're all on electric skateboards. We're all freaking nerds. Like, it's fine. Like, let's go skate. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of it, is just how like aggressive people are in the community. And we're so small. We're such a small community. Like, we're just the tiny little subset of like the whole skateboard industry is like electric skateboards. And so, like, I don't know. I feel like there's too much like people attacking each other and things like that in the forums and stuff. When we're all just trying to do the same thing. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Now, I've come from a surf industry, surfing, and it's a very cool bummer, dude, man, surfing. Everyone performs, everyone shares information, compliments each other, everyone does. I've never known an industry, and there's no disrespect to the dudes out there, but I've never known an industry where people are competing, mine's better, bigger, faster, what do you got? Oh, it's crap. There's some of the forums get quite heated, and I've actually stepped back from them because it's counterproductive. So if you're watching this, guys, it's not about beating someone or being better. It's about encouraging and about sharing information and being understanding to people. And this is something the industry has come from, a new breed of young riders that have come from maybe a gaming background or from an engineering or weren't a skateboard rider. But yeah, just, I suppose my thing would like to be able to chill a bit, enjoy and share and have a great sense of community and really start entertaining this as a fantastic joint group, and let's all work together, push us forward so we can legalize this, so we can get this on the roads. That's one of the biggest things I'd love to see it legalized worldwide. That sort of stuff. So, yeah, so that's one. But what's another thing you'd do, Tom?
Batteries, man. Batteries is like the thing, right? Like, if we could have a huge battery that weighs nothing, that charges in 5 minutes, like, that's like, I feel like that's where and batteries and motors, like, the more powerful you can make a motor in the smaller form factor, it can be more efficient. Like, batteries and motors, I don't know. That's yeah.
100%. I can tell you now, there's stuff happening in this space. I can't talk too much, but there's carbon graphene oxide batteries coming with mixtures that will do or blow away the Tesla batteries, blow away the 21700s. We're talking 2 cigarette packets of batteries. I don't smoke, but I know what they look like.
Yeah.
2 cigarette packets will do 20 kilometers. We do 4 cigarette packets, which will fit in the palm of your hand, would do like a 40-kilometer range. They're coming. In the future, it's going to be solid state. This is going to be, you'll be old enough, and I will just be old enough to see the invent of the most phenomenal battery systems that will take you 100 kilometers. This is going to change the whole thing. That's when that legalization, then you won't be getting on bus underground. Everyone will be just commuting in these weird bike lanes and these sort of tubes.
Definitely. I mean, we're getting there close. Like, I know some guys that have like the big unicycles out, like the Gotway Monsters, and like some of these like really big unicycles are already getting 100 miles of charge. And like, sure, they weigh 70 pounds, so they go 40 miles an hour. Like, some of these unicycles I've seen are pretty crazy. I've had a unicycle for a while, and I bought one to learn how to ride it. Just because I wanted to learn how to ride one, because I gotta learn how to do everything, right? So I had it for a few months, learned how to ride it. I was like pretty much mastered it. I got a Gotway Tesla, and I could only get it up to like 23 miles an hour before it would start beeping at me. It just wasn't for me though. It's just not a skateboard. It just doesn't have that same feeling. I like parallel feet. I mean, I don't like standing like this. I like standing like this. I don't know.
Plus, you're also straddling something, so when you come off, it's an automatic trip.
You're going face first pretty much always if you fall off a unicycle. Yeah,
people talk about skateboards as being sedate. They're not. You're only 4 inches off the ground, and you're in a prone position, and you can literally run. Like Usain Bolt will be going faster than most of our skateboards. He doesn't wear a crash helmet. I'm not saying you should not wear one, but technically, when you fall off, you're mainly going to go hands and elbows and knees. And that's but the bikes, the unicycles, the one wheels, they're incredibly dangerous because you're straddling this metal a speed bump essentially, and you've got to get over that. So I totally agree. And now the last one, what would you think? One more thing would you change? I don't know, I'm trying to think as well. What would you change these? You're saying have all boards black so no one knows your brand, so everyone.
Everyone put tape over your brand name. Yeah,
I love that. And then the emphasis on the rider and how you perform rather than what board you got. I agree, totally agree.
Yeah, definitely, and that's
I think also probably for me, more travel-friendly arrangements with boards, so you can travel and you can, you can get it overseas. These things easy, and they'll come again with smaller batteries, of course. And I've got a folding shaka board on my channel. I took to Europe last year. I rode the first person on the Amalfi Coast, and on Venice I rode too. And that is a fantastic rush. When you got this thing in your bag, you pop it out like a James Bond, and off
you're good to go. Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely.
And that is an amazing thing. Folding electric skateboards or portable vehicles to take overseas. Once the travel thing lifts, which might take a couple of years, it's another thing that will be great for the industry. Tom is a great ambassador for all the inboarding community.
Eleonora
from Argentina. Again, muy poco español. ¿Quién eres, por favor? Flying to New York maybe twice a year just to ride with you. Okay, there you go. This
Eleonora, yeah, she's come out a few times. She's been riding with us for a while. I think since like 2016 was the first ride she came out for. But yeah, she's been up here a few times for us. I think she came to NYEF, New York Electric Fest, a few years ago. But yeah, she's been around for a while riding. I think she started with a boosted board. I'm not sure what she's on now, but yeah.
Well, big shout out to Eleonora. That is amazing. More women skating is all for me. I love it. I think it's not a boys thing like golf or fishing. We want to get women into the sport. We want to get into riding. It's more fun. It adds a lot more, a gentler sort of edge and touch to the whole industry. And not so Freud, like I'm bigger, faster, bigger. It's better about, getting that soft approach. And women have a wonderful style in their riding. And it's great. Congratulations, Eleonora. That's really great. Another question from Sookie. Here we go. If you could turn back time in a time machine, I suppose, and talk to your Esk8 beginner self when you first saw that boosted with Sam Sheffer, I put Sam Sheffer in. Hey, Sam, hello from Andrew Penman. What would you tell him? What would you tell yourself about what you know now about electric skateboarding?
Really just like don't be cocky, man. Like, don't be cocky. That's the thing. Like, you think you got it, but you don't. Like, any moment someone's gonna walk off a sidewalk. Like, that's the thing about New York City, is like, as good as you are, you can be the best skateboarder ever. You could do 100% right and someone else could ruin your day. And that's the thing. Like, I don't know, I see people where they're like, oh, like, I don't want to wear a helmet, like, oh, I'm good enough, I know how to fall, blah, blah, all that kind of stuff. Like, you can't predict every situation. You could be the best skateboarder in the world, you're still gonna fall. Like, you saw that guy last year at the X Games. He was on the big air ramp and he fell from 20 feet in the air and he landed on the pipe. And this is some dude who's been skating his entire life, literally flies through the air 60 feet in the air all the time. Like, and you really still have to wear the gear, protect yourself, and definitely kind of like respect the board.
Yeah, I agree. Like, when I'm traveling at 35 k's an hour, just generally cruising, I'll be honest with you, Tom, I often think if anything fails, my truck snaps, my bearing goes, my wheel goes, the motor cuts out, the ESC just decides to suddenly go, hey, I'm cutting you off. You're traveling at 35 k's an hour on the concrete. And that is a scary thought. It's a bit like surfing in Sydney with the sharks at the moment. You go out there, it's always on your mind. You think, but I try and put that to the side because the technology is so good now in these builds that it will never happen. So if you're getting into this and watching this live podcast visual, it's safe. The equipment is the right time now to get in. You will not have problems with anything just throwing you. But as Tom said, you've got to get your skill set done. You've got to train and practice in a flat area, and then you can go out in the real world. Because as Tom said, he's the experienced rider of 25 years, probably 24 years of riding. And he's a young fella, but he's been doing this shit for all his life. And he even got hit by cars and hit women. So it happens anywhere. It can just happen a second, can't it? Pretty much. Yep,
definitely. Now,
Sookie's got another question. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, Tom, what would it be? Tom's the greatest. I like it. Go berserk.
Follow me on Instagram at TLP Productions.
There you go. Brought to you by Red Bull.
Yeah. Yo, Red Bull, let's go. Hit me up. Yeah.
That's my bullshit button. For me, not for you.
Oh, there it is, right there. Check it out. Oh, there it is. I'm back. Yeah.
But tell us a bit about your productions. What are you doing? I mean, this is
it's just my Instagram. I don't know. It's just my Instagram account. Yeah, I mean, I do professional photos for some. I used to work for Yelp in the city, so whenever they had like new restaurant opens and things like that, I'd go out and shoot photos for them. But I haven't done an event for Yelp in like, I don't know, 5 months since this whole thing started. Wow. But hopefully that starts up again. Yeah, I did like food photography, like restaurant stuff, that kind of thing.
Jeez. So what do you do for a full-time job, Tom? What do you do for a full-time
So I am the head of customer success at Sprout Video. We're an online video hosting platform that's designed for businesses. So if you had like an internal video that you wanted to share with your employees, you could use our service and that won't get out. It's not like YouTube. It's not like Vimeo. You can't just like look up a video. We have all different kind of like privacy settings and
that's
stuff.
Success word in there. That's the name of the company. You've just snuck success in because you're
well, so that's my role. That's my role. I'm the head of customer success. Yeah. So it's like customer support, account management, like all that kind of stuff. It's really, I'm just helping people all day. Like I'm helping them understand how to use the platform. I'm helping them find out what plan they want to be on, like all that kind of stuff. So it's a lot of different roles, but it's like I want to help people. I want to help people skateboard. I want to help people do video. It's just, whatever.
Oh, that's brilliant. So Evolve, you got to have the ambassador, the word success. So it's Tom Pagut, and it's the Evolve Success Ambassador. Yes, Success Ambassador. No, that's awesome. So it gives you plenty of free time. I suppose your job is pretty flexible. You can get out and about and ride and get off work pretty early, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I work 10 to 6. It's not too bad. So, like, I'm here. I mean, I'm working from home nowadays. So, like, we're kind of like, whenever we need to get out and go do something, like, it's fine. Like, everyone's kind of flexible right now, especially with all this whole situation going on. So, we're a small team. So, it's really kind of like on me to kind of handle all my business. And, if everything gets done, then no one has any problems. So, it's it's cool. It's chill. Everyone's cool. Wow. I like my job.
Incredible. I tell you what, it's like, you've got to enjoy what you do. And for many years, I was an accountant. I worked for the IRS. microphone off. The IRS and tax office. I was a senior, I was working in serious compliance, putting people in jail and custodial sentences, white collar crime, crooks, all that. It was all good, making a difference, but I didn't enjoy what I did, and I suddenly started the YouTube channel, and just being involved and doing something you love. I wish now, if I go back in time, I'd do something I love. I wouldn't get the money in. I'd be doing something that I love that maybe just did all right money. Okay, it's in life. You got to do what you want. You don't have to worry about exactly what you need. To worry about doing the right thing and trying to. You just got to do something you love doing and find a passion in what you do. If you can't do that, you just go ahead and do it on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, if you could work it in, and like, my job's cool about it. Like, when I had to go to the X Games for Boosted, they were like, "Oh yeah, you get the week off, no problem." And so, like, I was out at the X Games with Boosted in 2018, and we, did a whole week out in Minnesota, and so that was kind of cool. And like, my job is cool with it. Like, They definitely understand like the passion I have for electric skateboarding. When I ride to work every single day, and I have 6 boards at the office, ready for to go. And that's kind of the thing is like, they benefit, I benefit, everyone has a good time. Like, my boss has a board, my coworkers all have boards. Like, it's cool.
Well, what a contribution you are making, my man. I'm really blown away. I thought I was working damn hard here doing what I do. But I'll tell you now, you are doing amazing stuff in the Big Apple, New York City, ambassador now for Evolve, previous booster. This is an amazing few medals on your chest. You're doing incredible stuff. Be safe and make sure you're careful over there, Tom, because it's dangerous right now. Everything's pretty scary and sketchy what's happening in New York and America, all the riots and all the COVID. Did you want to leave with? I think we might wrap up now because I think other people might be saying these two could talk all day. do you want to end or still want to say something or we've missed out on? Do you want to talk about anything, what's happening, or anything more you want to talk about?
Yeah, not too much. Just really, just to everyone be safe. Wear your helmet, wear your gear. Don't be too confident, and just always kind of remember, you could get hurt at any point. Not to be so sad about it. Have a good time too, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to see you on the flip side. We'll I'll actually look forward to getting to New York, having a ride with you, put you on my channel, and we'll get you over to Australia. I'm sure to Evolve watching, Jeff and the team, you're doing an amazing job in Queensland. You've got a good man on here, a brilliant ambassador, a lot of experience, and you're very lucky to have him. So thanks to Evolve, the contribution you're making. The boards are great, and I'm sure Tom will feed back stuff to you if you need to improve anything. And until then, I suppose we might leave the audience with that. And we thanks so much, everyone, for watching today. This will be on Jack Esk8 YouTube channel, the full interview with Tom here. Jot down questions later, post this, and we'll answer. Tom and I'll come in, and Jack and Sookie, Alister, the whole team at UK Esk8, Facebook, amazing bunch of guys. So again, this is a really needed in the industry, this kind of visual podcast to bring these big players in and have a chat to you. So we're very, very lucky and very grateful. Thank you, Tom, for your time today.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me on, guys. Esk8 UK, Andrew, good time. Sookie, definitely. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Well, from it's over and out from Australia, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much, Tom. Awesome.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.